My mom looked me in the eye and said, "Our life would be much better without you." I walked out, and the moment I did, her world started falling apart. I'm the oldest son, the fixer. Wi-Fi, car, bills, calendar, the whole toolkit. If something broke, I fixed it. If someone needed a ride at 2 a.m., I drove. If the house got a weird smell at 3 a.m., I handled it. That was just how it worked. I was the oldest, so I carried the weight. My younger brother, Leo, he was the VIP. Never wrong, never responsible. If he borrowed my car and returned it on empty, I should have reminded him about gas. If he cracked the bathroom mirror, boys will be boys. If he missed rent 3 months in a row, Mom called it investing in his potential. When I landed a better job, she said, "Don't brag." Marcus did that last year. Marcus, our best friend's son. The family scoreboard. Our fridge was basically Marcus's LinkedIn page printed out and laminated. The night it snapped, I told her I'd been laid off. Not looking for pity, just being honest. I figured she should know. She looked at me, sighed like I'd broken something on purpose, and said the words, "Our life would be much better without you." Then she added, "Marcus would never put his mother through this." I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't ask why. I just looked at her and thought, okay, test accepted. I made a plan that night, not in anger and clarity. I scanned my IDs to a private drive, opened a new bank account and moved my emergency cash there, grabbed a prepaid SIM with a new number, created a fresh email, removed her as my emergency contact at work, at the doctor, at everything, locked my social so she couldn't track me through posts, told one trusted friend exactly where I'd be for the week, packed a duffel with clothes, my laptop, and the basics. Then I walked out the door without a word. Here's the part nobody tells you when you're about to set a boundary. When you stop playing your assigned role, everyone pushes harder at first. That's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's called an extinction burst in psychology, basically when old buttons stop working. People hit them harder before they realize they're broken. It's loud. It's uncomfortable. But it passes. The first 3 days were a storm. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Voicemail swung from syrupy to sharp. "I'm worried about you. Be a man and call your mother." Marcus would never do this to his family. I listened to exactly one message, wrote down a rule on a sticky note, and stuck it to my fridge. No responses to guilt trips. Then I ignored the rest. I sent one family text to keep the triangulation from spiraling. It said, "I'm safe and taking space. Please don't relay messages between Mom and me. If she needs to reach me for a real emergency, email only." Then I muted the thread and took a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding since I was 12 years old. Without me, the cracks showed fast. I used to fix her printer when it jammed, handle the HOA emails before they became fines, set reminders for oil changes and dentist appointments, read the fine print on bills so she didn't get swindled. With me gone, the car got towed because nobody remembered the registration deadline. The HOA fined her for an overdue violation. Nobody caught. The internet mysteriously stopped working because nobody knew the router password. And Leo? Leo overdrafted her card twice in 1 week and missed a job interview because he said alarms are toxic to his creative process. For the first time, the son she never questioned had to carry some weight, and he dropped it every single time. She tried to make me the villain in public, at church, at her book club. Anywhere she'd get an audience, she'd spin the story, "He abandoned us," after everything I did for him. But here's the thing about that script, it only works if the audience doesn't know the first line. And everyone in her circle had heard her say it. The follow-up question hit every single time. "Didn't you tell him life would be better without him?" Hard to play the victim when that quote is floating around the room. She showed up at my job on a Friday. I saw her through the window before she saw me. My chest got tight, then steady. I walked to the door. She started talking fast, her voice sharp. "Get in the car. You're embarrassing me. We need to fix this." Old me would have tried to manage her mood, calm her down, make peace. New me said 3 words, "I'm not doing this here." She got louder. After everything I've done, I cut her off. "If life is better without me, keep living it. If you want to talk, email me. Be specific. Tell me what you did, why it was hurtful, and what changes you'll make." Then I turned and walked back inside. My hands were shaking, but my feet didn't stop. A few days later, the email came. Subject, "Let's move on." The body was everything and nothing. I may have said things in anger. Family shouldn't hold grudges. Marcus says I'm too honest. Let's just be normal. No specifics, no ownership, just image management and a side of Marcus to remind me who I wasn't. I replied with one line, "Name it, own it, plan it." Then I'll consider a call. I wasn't being cold. I was being clear. A boundary isn't a punishment. It's a rule for me. I don't engage with vague apologies. I don't accept image saving over accountability. That's the rule. And rules only work if you hold them. Meanwhile, my life stayed small on purpose. Coffee and a walk in the morning, job applications after lunch, a lifting session in the evening, early sleep because I could. I started therapy through a sliding scale clinic because I'd been carrying weight that wasn't mine for too long. The best thing my therapist said was simple. Guilt is like a smoke alarm. Sometimes it's warning you about a real fire. Sometimes it's just burning toast. Learn the difference. Word from relatives started trickling back. She's miserable. Not because I'm gone exactly, but because the role I played, fixer when needed, scapegoat when convenient, was suddenly vacant. And the favorite son she's been hyping for years, he's not built for the work. He never had to be. Now he does. And he's dropping every ball she used to blame me for dropping. That's not my emergency anymore. Leo tried to bait me once. Called me up, voice tight. "You think you're better than us now? You think you're too good for the family?" I said, "No. I just stopped doing free labor for a team that keeps benching me and blaming me for the score." He hung up. A week later, he texted me asking for help with his resume. I wished him luck and sent him a link to a free template site. Boundary held. Now I have a cheap couch from a thrift store, a plant that somehow hasn't died on me, and a brain that doesn't brace for a sigh every time my phone buzzes. I answer to my own name. I laugh out loud in my kitchen without looking around to see if it's allowed. I go to bed without rehearsing what I'll say to manage someone's mood tomorrow. If she ever sends a real apology with specifics, ownership, and a plan that includes therapy, the door's cracked. Until then, I'm not going back to a game I never agreed to play. She said, "Our life would be much better without you." Turns out one of our lives did get better, mind.